rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds sit by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
So here we are today. You can see all these wonderful people around. We've just installed our 76 plaque for Nubian Jak, and it's the Island Records. So it's all been said, it's all been on camera, and I'm very honoured to be part of the team that installed this wonderful historic plaque.
One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright.
It's a real honour and pleasure to be here to represent my father, Sonny Roberts, who owned the first black recording studio and record label in Britain called Planitone Studio and Sway label. My father is affiliated with Island Records. When he first came to Britain, he worked as a carpenter and eventually ended up doing commissions for Chris Blackwell at his flat. This was back in 1959, and progressing on to making speaker boxes, which spurred him on to working into the music business. However, he set up his recording studio at 108 Cambridge Road in Kilburn, London NW6, and there he housed his recording studio, and through his relationship with Chris Blackwell, Island Records were at premises in Connaught Square, and they had to move premises, so Chris had asked my father if he knew of any premises, so my father had took him to 108 Cambridge Road, and the building at the time, the building was owned by B.R.O.T.H.E.R, who owns Trojan Records. However, Island Records moved their offices to 108 Cambridge Road, so you can imagine Island Records were housed there, as well as my father's recording studio. So that's his relationship with Island Records and Chris Blackwell.
I'm a founder member of Simmerans, Lux Legici, the guitarist. We started Simmerans band from 68-69, and we were the first reggae band in England. I mean, we were the first reggae band in Ireland. So Ireland became reggae capital because of Simmerans and a band like Rudy's in the early days. So we're the first reggae band, live reggae band at the time, you know. I mean, we could have been with Trojan with Ireland, but Trojan grabbed all of us. Yeah, Trojan grabbed all of us in the early days. We became Trojan studio recording band. Yeah, but we used to visit the studio here quite often. But actually, we didn't quite record it here. We didn't record in with Ireland music. Yeah, but we're always in and out, you know. So there's a lot of history there, because Simmerans was the first reggae band, and out of Simmerans we got Asbad and Matumbi and you know, you can name it. You can name all the artists that were inspired by Simmerans. Yeah.
So my name is Paul McLean. I'm from the band High Tension, which Chris Blackwell signed, which helped to start the Brit Funk Association going. Because later on, we're going to see some more of what we saw back in 1978. So the plaque's been mounted now. Island Records was the place where music that would not normally get heard was heard. And we thank Chris Blackwell so much for doing that.
Sit by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you.
I'm so pleased that we're partnering again with Nubian Jak Community Trust to install another heritage plaque. And I'm so pleased as well that it's happening during Black History Month, a time when we really should be questioning, why these plaques aren't already on the walls, and who's written our history and who continues to write history and champion all parts of our community in the borough.
We're very grateful to you for organising the event, for organising the plaque, and we're deeply honoured to have the plaque on our building. I'm bound to say it's not my home. It continues in the tradition of Ireland in being a place for creative work. We're architects, and we've been there since 2005, and inspired by a wonderful building, a wonderful place, wonderful neighbours, many of whom we know and are here. But that inspiration comes from music and a particular period from 1973, when the building was occupied by Island Records. It had been built in the late 19th century as a laundry, and that was a sort of pretty tough past for a building that then blossomed under Island Records.
The plaque, together with other notable buildings, form part of 3 Black Heritage and History Trails, which we formally launched last Saturday and will continue to grow around the borough. I'm pleased to say that the borough's Black Heritage Trails are now being actively used by school groups, and we had Wendell Park here today, which, by the way, I would like to give another round of applause to. They were fantastic. I see them as being the next generation.
But this is not about a building, this is about a culture, and it's about a contribution to black culture over many, many years, starting with Laurel Aitken and Lance Hayward in the early days, and moving into the Bob Marley era. But Ireland, Chris Blackwell, the founder, he really is the foundation of everything here. That was simply a building, but Ireland was much more than that. It was I think I remember a managing director of A&M Records once telling me that he ran a club, and he told me that London Records ran a gang, and Ireland Records, I ran a cult. And I think he was trying to insult me, but in reality, it was true. We were a cult that was absolutely dedicated to pushing the boundaries forward, and that obviously earning money was important, but we had fantastic things like U2, we had the wonderful Bob Marley catalogue, we had the security of knowing that the money was there. But that allowed us to then invest into areas of black music that probably are slightly forgotten. So you wouldn't remember our investments in Africa, King Sunny Ade, Angelique Kidjo, Baba Maal, Salif Keita. You might not remember even the Mercury Music Prize winner Talvin Singh, or the Mercury Music Prize nominated Apache Indian. Our commitment to black music has been long and deep, and I wrote a list thinking that there may be a chance that I'd be asked to speak today. And I came to about 50 or 60 names that you would recognise of the pantheon of the greats of Island Records. But working on the ratio that for every 10 artists that we signed, 9 failed, you've got to multiply that list of 50 wonderful successes that includes Bob Marley. You've got to multiply that by 10 in terms of our commitment. You don't sign Courtney Pine to make money. You don't sign Baba Maal to make money. You don't sign even Ronnie Jordan to make money. You sign those artists to push culture forward. And that's what Island Records was, and still is, brilliant at doing. Its roster now includes The Weeknd and Drake and Ariana Grande. This is not just a building, it's a culture. But there was another really massively important moment in the history of black music in the UK, which was our defence of NWA. We released a record that was seized by the police in 1990, and it was Enfil Verzagin, the second record following Straight Outta Compton. And the police gave us the option of just allowing them to scrap the record and the issue would go away. And we as a young board, I was only 30 years old, took the decision that we would fight it. The police advised us that if we lost, they would prosecute me personally under Section 2 of the Obscene Publication Act as the controlling mind, which would result in a prison sentence. We had no support from the rest of the organised industry. They didn't give a damn. And yet we fought it and we won. And it was an absolutely pivotal moment in the history of black music in the UK that has allowed the current crop of black artists and rappers and everybody else to have the freedom of speech and the freedom of expression that they so richly deserve and so richly enjoy. Wow. And to quote Bob Marley, to round this off, the one great thing about music is that when it hits, you feel no pain. Long may Island Records keep hitting us with music, and long may it ease our pain. Thank you very much.
NWA, that's a subject you and I will have to have a drink over. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, I think we should have an actual act who was signed to Island, ladies and gentlemen. Paul from High Tension. Does everybody remember High Tension? High Tension. That's what we are. Superstar High Tension. Okay, beautiful.
So we were signed to Island Records back in the late 70s. And I'll be very short because obviously we haven't got a lot of time, but it goes something like this. We turned up with Kofi from Osabisa to see Chris Blackwell to see if we can have a deal. Godwin Logie puts the cassette into the cassette player. First 4 bars go by, and I'm looking around, which one of these guys is Chris Blackwell? And then he stands up. Godwin, give me the tip now. Yeah. Wow, okay. So it went missing. I thought, that's it, we've blown it. So Godwin gave me the thumbs up, said, yeah, you're in. He likes to take the cassette to the car, take a trip around the block, and if you're still feeling it, you're in. He came in, sat back down on the couch, looked at myself. Yeah, you guys really serious? I said, yeah, man. Come in on Tuesday and record it. That was it. As simple as that. He was able to see something that all the major record companies that we had been to before were giving us lots of excuses and ideas. Chris just listened to what he heard and he recognized it was something great. And Island is instrumental in the launch of Brit Funk in the UK right now. So they were the first one to put their neck on the block, and that was Chris's way of working with the people in this community.
There's a picture of a life through the lenses of the sky. The creator of this world, I cry. He's watching you and I. We're here to do a job. Reasons why I do not know. Searching for the answer. For in His glory we shall find His course. There's a reason why we're living, and there's a reason for us all, and there's a reason why we need to love till we reach beyond the sun. Love is what we need today, in our hearts and where we stay. It will come between our minds and hearts. That's what God would surely say. Through another ending time, we shall travel through our mind, searching for the answer. For in His glory we shall find. Here we go. there's a reason why we're living, and there's a reason for us all, and there's a reason why we need to love till we reach beyond the sun. Hey, there's a reason why we're living, and there's a reason for us all, and there's a reason why we need to love till we reach beyond the sun.
Thank you. Let's see Chris Blackwell. Whoa. So this is Chris's quote. Chris Blackwell, that is. I wish I could be there to join you all in celebrating the incredible artists and music made at St. Peter's Square. I have so many wonderful memories working with the staff and spending time with so many talented musicians and singers in this studio. There's a fallout that's behind the building. It's really lovely to know that this location is being acknowledged with a plaque to remind us all of the great artists we've managed over the decades. One love, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Beautiful, Kwaku. Thank you so much. Sorry, we're just running a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to we've come to that $100 million moment. So, Lady Mayor, Madam Mayor, can I have you by the plaque, please? So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! And there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Island Records had offices and recording studios here, 1973 to 2005, founded by Chris Blackwell in Jamaica in 1959. Thank you. Let me just quickly say, there's some people that we have to thank. We have to thank Hammersmith Council, of course, for partnering us on this wonderful historic project. And we have to thank, of course, Alex again for giving us permission to do this. Lady Mayor, and most of all, I want to thank all of you for coming out here today. We want to thank the sound man, we want to thank the band, and we thank, most of all, Jak Rastafari. See you there.
Diplomatic, hip for Hippocratic, giant for giant and chorus, top for top for Norris. City hypocrites, them a go long day. City hypocrites, them a go long day. Just city hypocrites, them a go long day. City hypocrites, them a go long day. Man go, just go. Man go. Just go. Them a fuss, against them one another. Fuss, against them one another. How's it feel to love one another? How's it feel to love man? Just go. Man go. Just go. Man go. Now them a run, with them grabbing the shots. Run, with them grabbing the shots. Them a run, with them grabbing the shots. Run, with them grabbing the shots. Man go, just go. Man go, just go. Canary. See the hypocrites, them a go like that. See the hypocrites, them a go like that. Just see the hypocrites, them a go like that. See the hypocrites, them a go like that. Man, go. Just go. Man, go. Just go. Yeah, my fuss, get some on a dinner. Fuss, get some on a dinner. How's it feel to love one another? How's it feel to love man? Just go. Man, go. Just go. Man, go. Just go. Man, go. Just go. Man, go. Just go. Thank you. We are going to take a short break and hand you over to whoever.
Stand over here. Just wait this way. Yeah. This is for LFPD, GateCrash, and the Brother Movement, the Black Right organisation to help equal rights, was signed by Island Records over there back in 1989. Big up Bernie Grant, beyond the 16th parallel. This is for you guys. Perfect.
Hey, my name is Kwaku of BritishBlackMusic.com, Black Music Congress. That's BMC. But before I say anything else, I've got to remind you of the man behind the camera has also got a link with this building, which I'm sure he's going to tell you about later on. But back in the day, particularly in the 90s, I was a very prolific journalist. So I interviewed some of the island journalists, and I'm also what you call a historical musicologist. So I do a lot of things about Black British history. So obviously Ireland plays an important part of it. And doing the unveiling earlier on in the park, I read statements by Chris Blackwell, whom I interviewed recently, Darkus Bees, who was one of the former presidents, and from High Tension, who were one of the Brit-funk bands signed to the label, and also from Ford, who was part of ASWA, the first British reggae band to be signed by Island Records. So that's me here.
How do you feel about seeing it go up?
Well, I'm part of documenting our history. So I commend Nubian Jak, I commend the Hammersmith and Fulham Council for making sure that this is there. People walking by may be curious to see what's this blue plaque about, and they'll know that this building for a number of years in the 70s into the 2000s represented Black music. It wasn't African owned, but the music and rock music, by the way, is also Black music. So jazz music, hip hop, ska music, jazz, I said jazz, Brit funk, reggae, trip hop, Tricky was trip hop. It was all released by this label. Lastly, I was just hearing Paul of High Tension saying that they went through all the major labels, CBS, whoever, they were not signed. Chris and Island Records saw something in them and they signed them. Sadly, they only released one album. High Tension, British Hustle. Okay.
So, proper things. Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome, man. You're more than welcome.